Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm Raymond J. Negro with Beyond Failure to Reach Success. And I want to talk about the transformational dilemma, which some people relate that to the hero's journey. And you go through these different levels. I call them 10 different levels where you get a first impression, you get an insight, you get a taste of something, you get a commitment or a devotion, even. And then there's a repetition where you have to repeat the thing over and over. Then you get a translation, a transaction. And then what happens is you reach a level where there's a transformational dilemma, where there's a double bind of either going back to where you came from or moving forward out of your comfort zone into the thing that you know will change you for the better. And then that is the transformational journey. And where that person goes is actually the next level of being, of where they're at. So today I wanted to discuss, as the picture will say, first impressions, right? When you're going on any journey from where you are to where you want to go, whether that's health, whether that's writing a book, whether that's wealth, whether that's getting a job that you desire, you strongly want this job, and you have this inspiration to want to move forward with it, the first thing you get is a first impression. And that's like an imprint of the mind. It's like a mental model of what it would be like if I had that thing, right? I'm going to look, I have some notes here that I'm going to read as well. And the first impression is you see that it exists and it's possible for you. Maybe it's someone that holds a position that you want. And you're like, if that guy can do it, I can do it too, right? And that comes with belief, right? And beginning to build the stages of confidence with seeing and internalizing and visualizing that thing that you want and that you desire, right? So you get an impression from the way things could be, right? If you would just move into the actions of becoming that which you want to become, where you go into life and you see things that you actually go in your brain. You're like, you know what? Imagine if I looked like that. Imagine if I had that body, or I had that kind of shape that guy has it. Why can't I have it? There's other people, and you see, and you get an impression that it's possible. Maybe you see someone that has a similar body type of you, that has a physique that you're like, wow, that's amazing. What if I had that? What would that be like? And you get this thing called a first impression. And it kind of drives home that you open up a horizon to what's possible, right? You see something, and it's an impression. It's a realization that this thing that you want, and it's the first step on the transformational journey of anything that you want to do to change yourself for betterments and improvements in life. You get a first impression of what that would be like. What would it be like? I want that car. Man, that guy has that amazing whatever. If it's a car, if it's a material thing, right? Or an education, or something that you believe is impossible, but then there is a possibility if you did the hard work, you had determination, and you had the persistence, and you had the drive behind that, that you could do something a little bit more today. And getting that first impression is the first imprint of a mental model that you actually visualize inside of yourself, right? Because it's not true yet. You think it could be. Imagine what that would be like for me. And then know that the possibility of it happening could very well be true, because you get what you focus on in life, right? So, also, you'll go through a little bit of grief during this process, right? There's kind of Elizabeth Kubler-Ross goes over, it's called Death and Dying. And there's stages of when someone dies. There's like, I'm going to get them wrong, but there's like anger, denial, rejection, grief. I'm not sure. They may be a little out of order, but the grief is the thing that we experience when we're leaving the old life and going into the new, whatever it is, right? It's like the first time you're going to the gym. You're like, oh my God, what is it going to be like? I'm going to be sore. I'm going to be this. But if you could get that impression of what it would be like when you bypass all of that, and then you learn how to really take care of yourself, you learn how to nurture yourself, you learn how to eat better, learn how to move better, you learn how to breathe better, right? Learn how to sleep better. You learn about stretches that when you have the soreness, or the different types of food that alleviates the soreness. But you learn that, but you first get an impression of what it would be like to have that thing that you want in your life. And I think that's so important. You watch someone living a different way that you wish to be like, right? Or you wish to have that type of thing or live like, right? Maybe it may not be just like them. Maybe you speak to them and ask them, what did it take for you? This is getting out of your comfort zone and asking to get this life. What was it like for you? What could you tell me about that? And gain an experience, another mental experience, or possibly ask that person, what's the first step, right? You're getting that first impression, right? You see someone living a certain way or working a certain way, and you want that. And you desire to do that in that moment, you have a realization that you could be doing something different. Now, that's a first impression, right? You could do that with health, with wealth, with writing a book, right? You look on a bookshelf and you're like, there's thousands of other books. I want to write a book, right? And you're like, you know what? It's possible. What did this person do to write this book? Probably sat down every day, right? They wrote 3 to 5 pages, depending on how long the book is, right? Man, what would it be like? And the first step on that transformational journey is a first impression. And it impresses upon you, that something is different and something is possible and that you're able to attain it, right? And then the next step we're going to talk about is insight. I'm going to go into that in another video, but that's the next step that's very important because that's when you actually gain confidence to do the thing that your first impression led you to take that first step into that direction or an action, right? To move forward. You haven't taken the action yet, but you get an impression. So I just want to tell you that's the realm of possibility for most people is getting that first impression of what it is that they want or desire in this great life and knowing and having this imagination of knowing. If you can see how all of these steps occur when you're going on that journey towards the next level of what you want, right? Say it's a job. Say, a next level would be owning your own business if you work in a job for somebody, right? If you're working as an employee for somebody. The next level, which is huge, it's like going up a staircase to the top, would be owning your own business. And now getting the experience of paying the bills, having to work longer than you think you have, right? And having that. But a first impression would be like, what would it be like? And that's where the excitement starts. That's where we, get a little energized to start to get motivated, right? I do believe an inspiration is more important than motivation because motives can take you far, but inspiration of doing the thing, what that person would be, right? If they were an entrepreneur or a business owner or, a published author, I'm going to leave you with this identity, action, and feelings. I'll say this constantly if you watch my other videos. Identity is identifying the person, the best version of that person that you want to become, right? And then the actions they take, or the inactions they take, say a lot as well. But you want to take the actions. Just want to make sure my volume is all the way up. That person would lead in that direction. Then the feelings just automatically come up. Most people go by the way they feel, and then they act, and then they identify with the person they already are, which leads you to nowhere, which leads you to insaneness, right? And it's a word I kind of made up of being insane, right? Of being in insaneness, right? Which is also insanity, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. But when you identify yourself with that first impression that you want and desire in this life, and you imagine yourself taking the actions, right? Without thinking about it too much, the feelings of, wow, this is how it feels like to go to the gym. At first it sucks and then it feels great afterwards. But I believe those three things can help you get a first impression of what it is you want in life. Pick a direction. So let me leave you with this question. What do you want? What's a first impression excuse me, that you could get to begin in that direction, and then begin to take that. And tomorrow we're going to go over the next stage, which is insight. So have an amazing day. It was great speaking to you. Thank you for being here and listening. And I would love to hear below what your first impressions, what it is you're searching for yourself, right? What is it for you that you could see yourself doing and imagine, and then know that it's possible? And then also gain the identity. What kind of identity would you have to take upon and become? And then the actions that you would have to take, maybe on a daily basis, maybe the first day. Let's think of the first day. And then what feelings would come up after completing that hard or difficult task, right?